Hello, everyone. My name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is September 16th, 2022, and we are indeed moments away from the beginning, the start of the cryptocurrency bull market. Also, a sustained uptrend, I'll say, in the SPX. So what we're going to do today is look just technically at what is prompting me to say we are only moments away from the start of the cryptocurrency bull market. If that interests you, then watch for the duration of this live stream. Welcome one and all to the Friday live stream. I hope you're having a great day. All right, so as usual, we're going to look at the DXY, the US dollar index, the market mover, what moves cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin, and what moves the SPX and NASDAQ and pretty much the entire world economy. We're going to look at that. We're going to obviously look at Bitcoin and the SPX and some other alts. So if that is what you're looking for in your financial analysis for today, then definitely stay tuned. All right, let's get into it. Guys, definitely like the stream, subscribe, and let me know where you're listening from. The DXY, we're looking at this on a small time frame because I'm here to tell you that this channel that you see in teal right here is basically what we're waiting for to break in order to start our bull run, okay? And I'm going to count this out, and I'm going to show you my count really quickly. So let's first look at the count. So I'm going to zoom out for a second. I'm going to go on to let's go on the daily time frame. Go on the daily time frame. I'm going to show my I hit something. I think this is what I hit. Yep. There we go. Okay, and let's zoom out and let's show this. Okay, so essentially, yesterday I showed you a bit of a different count, but, zooming out and really looking, kind of a bird's eye view, this is, I think, what's going on. And, I was really getting into the small time frame, small sort of Elliott wave counts. It really doesn't matter. What really matters is the fact that we counted 5 waves up, right, on the higher time frames. This is a pivot right here. So this is a pivot right here. This is an A wave. This is a B wave, right? So all of this right here is the impulse of the big A, big B. So again, we can do your reversal patterns, right? AB basing. Right here, you see 3 waves. You would call that big A. 3 waves, you'd call that big B. It works just the same on the top as it does the bottom. And that's the first degree of AB basing. And this is essentially your second degree of AB basing, a small a, small b. And that is what's going to yield the move down, okay? So theoretically, you're looking for 2 degrees of AB basing. And after getting that, you should get your reversal, right? We all know that. According to Elliott wave theory, you need AB basing before price changes, right? This was the top of wave 5. A lot of Elliotticians who really don't understand AB basing, consolidation, reversal patterns, they tend to count everything as impulses. So even though you can count this right here, let's zoom out for a second. Even though you can count the top of 5 right there, yeah? I think most people can count the top of 5 right there quite simply, right? You see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an extended 5th wave. They're confused as to what's going on over here. That's not an impulsive wave. These are all corrective wave patterns over here, right? It's just a pivot. It's a way for price to move. And again, AB basing occurs on any time frame. If you want more information about AB basing, I would direct you towards the Secret of the Universe, or what's the other name for it? One of the names for the manual is The Secret of the Universe. It is Ralph Nelson Elliott's manuscript on Elliott wave theory. It's, I think, his second or third that he wrote. and he talks very briefly about A/B basing in that. And then Prechter and Frost speak very briefly about it in their 11th edition manual, The Wave Theory. And then I talk a bunch about it. Those are the three main places, honestly. Like, it's very, very, very sort of little researched phenomenon, and it is so important. It's absolutely crucial to reading price action. Okay, so if you go on the smaller time frames, you see this ending diagonal gives you the end of big B, or the first degree counter wave, and then you do it again. Okay, and I wasn't counting this properly yesterday. I was counting this impulsively, but this is another A wave. Okay, just as I said, this is clearly a corrective wave, and we know for sure it's a corrective wave actually, because once you come up here and then violate the 0618 of this, you know that this was corrective, and as is this. Okay, so that's essentially what we're doing here. 2 degrees of A/B basing, and then you come around, you pivot down. Okay, so now let's go back into our smaller time frame as we started and as we have on the thumbnail. Okay, and there now we can see it's always important, zoom out for a second, kind of get an understanding for what you're looking at, then zoom in. Okay, if you're always zoomed in, really is difficult to understand what's going on. Okay, and now we have this, basically this is the top of small a, this is the top of small b, this is the second degree pivot. So all I'm saying is this: if we break this channel to the downside, okay, that is the beginning of the bull run. This is what I'm saying. We're moments away from the beginning of the bull run in cryptocurrency, in the SPX, in NASDAQ, right? Because the dollar is the underlying asset, so it's inversely proportional, almost exactly or perfectly inversely proportional to these risk-on assets, right? So we want to get the dollar going down as it's going down already, right? So you have this, as I said, this 3-wave move here, and then this large 3-wave move, this flat correction B wave here, right? And what you have here is a small pivot, and this is actually already a wave, all right? So just want to direct your attention to this. This is the end right here. This is the small pivot taking you out of this A wave, B wave. Okay, so this is small a, this is small b, this is another small pivot, because you always need an AB base. You always need those AB bases to actually change direction. And you go into impulse. Okay, the C wave of this AB base gives you your first impulse. This is our first impulse right here. Okay, and this move, this 3-wave move, has respected, at least until now, the 0618 Fibonacci retracement level of this wave. You see that? So we should expect some rejection at this point around now, and a resumption of the trend. And once you break this area, the base of this channel, what do we know about channels? Channels, they hold price, and channel's been holding this DXY for about 2 days and 18 hours, so almost 3 days. Okay, channels break violently. Okay, they break violently to the upside or downside. So once we get around here, do expect a huge dump. Okay, that's when you should expect a huge pump in Bitcoin, a huge pump in the SPX, a huge pump in NASDAQ. Okay, so I do expect a green Friday, a green weekend, and a green next week. Okay, I think this is going to be the start of the bull run. Guys, if you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to pop into the comments to see who's here. What's up? Hey, Steve. What's up? Long time no see, Steve. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing, and that's why I'm seeing it. Let's have a look at Bitcoin now. And we have Bitcoin. I was looking at Shiba Inu, but we have Bitcoin here. And, you know, a lot of people are bearish. A lot of people don't understand this, and it's to be expected. because this is corrective price action and it is tricky. So zooming out, just having a look, one thing you can see is this pretty much across the board. So we did say that this was a 5-wave move, but I thought when this printed that this was impulsive. Now we know for a fact that this wasn't impulsive, but this was a 5-wave move in correction, okay? And you come back in your B wave retracement to the 786, which is your minimum retracement for a flat correction, okay? But in terms of timing, you have this took about 4 days, almost 5 days. This has taken about 4 days or 5 days. Okay, so it's comparable, but I go back on the fact that this is fully impulsive. This is corrective, clearly, okay? Because if it was impulsive, it would have stopped at the 0618. We know wave 2 doesn't retrace beyond the 618 unless, there are a few circumstances in which it does, but those are few and far between, like in diagonals, okay? Okay, so we have this B wave, and what you can see not just in Bitcoin but across the market is this falling wedge, okay? This falling wedge. It's actually quite bullish. It seems to go on forever, and it felt like it's gone on forever, right? We first hit one of the base of it on September 13th. So it's been almost 3 days of just building this falling wedge, and you can see it across the board. It's really, really bullish because when it breaks out to the upside, it's going to break out quite swiftly. And I do believe that this is close, judging by our DXY, okay? So that's what I'm seeing in Bitcoin. That's why I'm seeing it. We do not need our volume indicator for the moment. Cardano, just as well. You see that falling wedge, really, really bullish. Really, really bullish, okay? When it breaks out, it's going to break out in a big way. This is very beautiful on Dodo. Picture perfect falling wedge. You're holding support. When it does break out, it's going to break out really, really, really strong, okay? So this is what I'm seeing across the board. Polkadot, same thing as Cardano. You're in a falling wedge and you're holding support, okay? There's nothing bearish about this. Understand, what's bearish is losing support, okay? What's bearish is losing support. You're at support. So I know it's scary. I know it's a bunch of red candles, and this is not financial advice. You do what you want. But this is exactly when you go crazy and you go all in. All right, if you want to say go all in. Some people never go all in, but like this is when you commit, when you're at support in a bullish pattern and you have corroboration of a market moving indicator like the DXY about to break support itself, okay? Ethereum, it's also forming a falling wedge and it's at support. Again, we haven't lost support. Bearishness should come into play once you lose support, but you should remain either neutral or bullish if you're at support and holding support, which we are, okay? Litecoin, same thing. You have a falling wedge and you are at support, okay? It doesn't seem like you're at support, but you are at support. The line of support is just a little different than it is in other assets. This is a little slanted, and that actually is really bullish, having a slanted line of support, okay? Reserve rights, not as bullish, but still bullish, right? You don't have your falling wedge, but you do have your support line that you're holding, okay? So that's quite bullish. Shiba Inu, falling wedge, and you are at support, even though you're wicking below it quite slightly, but you are at support here. Here's your support. Yeah? You're at support, you're in a falling wedge. This is bullish. This is quite bullish, okay? Synthetics, you are at support. Let's see. Falling wedge. you're wicking below support, okay? You haven't completely lost support though, but you are below, you're right below support, okay? Uh, what would be bearish is coming back up, getting rejected at support, and then going back down. If you wanted to short or think that, you would go down, this is where you would want to become bearish, okay? But if you do go back up, you don't get rejected, obviously it's bullish. So that's synthetics. Let's check something really quickly. Let's see. Okay, so nice hash login. Always on top. What's up, man? Steve Coe says, just out of curiosity, how come you are so confident that there will be a major pump? I am really curious. I explained it. Could we go to smaller time frame and see where this drop should end? I explained it, Steve. It's about the DXY. The DXY is inversely proportional to Bitcoin and risk-on assets, and I've kind of demonstrated the inverse proportionality before. Just really quickly, Steve. And as I always say, just do your own research. But this is what I've done in terms of research. I took 8 years. I think it's 2015 to 2023. 8 years of data. I have Bitcoin on top here. I have the US dollar index, or the DXY, on the bottom. They're almost exactly inversely correlated, okay? You can see that in the chart, right? It's like mirror images of one another, okay? So that's a monthly time frame. And the other reason, Steve, is because the US dollar, if you think about it, is the underlying asset. So you have Bitcoin or any other risk-on asset. You can have the SPX or the whatever, NASDAQ, and you put the US dollar on the bottom. If this relationship, this ratio is consistent, is maintained, the higher the dollar goes, right? Let's just say the ratio is maintained and it's consistent over a short period of time. The higher the dollar goes, the lower Bitcoin has to go. The lower the dollar goes, the higher Bitcoin has to go. Okay, so that's why I think that the US dollar and the US dollar index moves the market, not Michael Saylor buying $400 million worth of Bitcoin. Think about it, Steve. Bitcoin's market cap is about $400 billion, or almost $500 billion, but let's say $400 billion right now at the bottom of this bear market, okay? $400 billion. If you buy $400 million worth of Bitcoin, that's not even 1% of the market cap. So how can people intelligently think that these large purchases of hundreds of $millions move the market? They don't move the market, right? The data shows you, just as I showed you just a second ago, that the US dollar, the underlying asset, actually moves the market. And if you track it, it's consistent. So if the US dollar goes down, Bitcoin starts to go up. Bitcoin starts going down, the US dollar goes, the US dollar starts to go up, Bitcoin starts to go down. And the last thing I'll say, sorry to repeat myself for everybody, is if you look closely at the US dollar index over a long period of time, it's been going up pretty much unimpeded, like in a massive, like breakneck parabolic move since May or April of 2021. Obviously that coincides with the Bitcoin bear market, okay? And you count 5 waves in here, it's hit this line, this dashed line right here is as old as 2009, okay? So that's a 13-year resistance that it hit. 13-year resistance, 5 waves in, okay? And it's pivoting off of that. That's why I'm so confident, all right? The dollar's at resistance. It's got 5 waves in. It's breaking down. When it breaks down, the math shows that as it loses value, as the denominator gets smaller, if the ratio is maintained, this has to go up. The SPX has to go up. NASDAQ has to go up. And this makes sense. The US dollar is the underlying asset for 60% of all transactions in the world, as 60% of all of money is denominated, or the US dollar represents 60% of the world's reserve currency, okay? And so most people buying Bitcoin, more than half the people, more than 6 out of 10, but just conservatively speaking, 6 out of 10 people who buy Bitcoin use the US dollar to buy Bitcoin. This is why that theory makes sense. This is why, again, I am so confident in that. All right. So let's get on with the explanation for what's going on with, we're looking at altcoins, weren't we? Okay, altcoins. Okay, we just looked at synthetics. Let's see. Synthetics. VRA. It's also on support. Okay. It's not as much of a falling diagonal, but, you know, you're holding support, which is bullish. Okay, you're consolidating on support. Let's do BNB and XRP. Okay, I don't want to waste too much time going through too many altcoins. XRP seems to already have started. Okay, so that's quite bullish. All right, and BNB has already started, and it seems to be consolidating. So this is what I'm seeing in those altcoins. Guys, if you have any other altcoins you want to look at, definitely put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Let's see. All right. So now let's look at the traditional markets. Let's look at the SPX. Okay. And as we saw before, this is nothing but a sort of pivot, okay? So the SPX went up quite bullishly, right? From, actually, let's zoom out really quickly. Okay, on the daily time frame, we've been tracking this for some time, okay? Again, it went down for 600 or so days, came up, initial break of structure. That's your first sort of your first wave of your consolidation reversal pattern, your first AB base, your B wave. This is your small A. This is now your small B. I think your small B would be, you could say your small B is this, okay? And this is your pivot. I do expect the next move to be up, and I'm seeing the SPX come up to, let's go on the higher time frames, to this region here, around 5,500, okay? I don't necessarily see it coming up all the way here to this massive resistance that we've been holding. Let's put the log scale on. But in the SPX, we've been holding under this resistance since 2010. Okay, I don't necessarily see it testing this again, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. So I would say 55 to 5,900. Okay, and you could say the SPX is going to initiate a bull run, but I don't necessarily like to call it a bull run, given that it's still in correction. Okay, this is wave 1 of 3. This is wave 2 of 3. This is wave 3 of 3. Okay, Bitcoin's in a proper impulse. The upside, it's not in a corrective uptrend. So I think I'd be careful saying a bull run is starting for the SPX. I would say a corrective uptrend. Okay, just to put things into perspective, because you do want to be very careful with your stocks. If your stocks are going up, you can sell into strength. Not financial advice, but you know, this is gonna last for a few months, and people can take advantage of it. But it's not gonna be anything like this. You know, it's just gonna be a small corrective uptrend. And then de-risk up here as it pivots down and completes that correction. So yeah, that is the SPX, that's Bitcoin, and that is our DXY. That, let's see on the small time frames what it's doing. Guys, if you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. It looks as if our DXY is rejecting from both the middle of the channel, okay, and we know the middle of any channel represents resistance beneath it and support above it, and it's also rejecting from the golden pocket of this first wave here. Okay, you can see that if you take your Fibonacci retracement tool from the top to the bottom. The rejection is where we would think it should be in this region, which represents the maximum sort of retracement level of a wave 2 correction, okay? And then let's look at this in terms of time, okay? So remember, waves of the same degree are typically equal in price and in time, okay? Especially waves 1 and 2. So if you take the time for wave 1, an hour of 45 minutes, wave 2 probably ended right here, okay? An hour and 45 minutes. I'm not counting the pivot, right? The AB basing. This is clearly A wave, B wave, AB, right? You have some AB basing here that I'm not counting. So you literally have 7 bars on the 15-minute time frame for both the wave 1 and the wave 2, which you should expect. You know, it doesn't have to be absolutely equal, but just has to be comparable, right? So I do expect this to continue down. Once it gets here, the bull run starts, okay? That's the answer to the question when the bull run starts. Once it gets to that point and breaks this channel, then you should start seeing massive gains. Okay, let's see. Let's see. So yeah, it's been tough. It's been very challenging, okay? There's a reason not everybody's buying the bottom, right? You can see just how long it takes for bottoms and tops to form. I mean, look, we hit a bottom, or sorry, we hit a top in the DXY all the way over here in July, right? Mid-July. We've been pivoting out of the top for 64 days, okay? Most market participants and you know, kind of casual analysts are saying the DXY's got a lot more to go, as they're unable to read this corrective price action, this up and down stuff, right? So it's not so easy to say, yeah, just get exposed. Like, not everybody's built for waiting 64 days and having their positions threatened or being underwater for 64 days, right? Or even longer. This is why a lot of people are not going to buy the bottom of the SPX or the bottom of crypto. They're just going to wait until it definitively gets into impulse. The DXY starts nuking, and you know, it's a clear kind of green candles. Not everybody can buy red candles. It takes a certain amount of mental fortitude. And if you're exposed, you haven't sold, congratulations. You're in the minority. You're in the minority. It's not easy. It's not easy. Okay. So Steve, I hope that answered your questions. G Tekken says, can you check on OXT? MLA Media says, I hope you're correct. Me too, MLA Media. But I mean, look, I'm not. I'm pretty much all invested. I have, you know, more than 6 figures invested in this market. You know, I do this for a living. This is all I do. So I spend every waking hour, it seems like it's every waking hour, thinking about this stuff, and, you know, looking at this analysis and poring over it and doing all this shit to help me be successful in my business, right, and in my investments. And I'm just gonna go off data, not, you know, blind hope. So what I explained briefly about the DXY and the inverse correlation, like that's like a lot of time and thinking of, oh, I think I got it, and then, you know, putting the pieces together and then testing it and testing it and testing it. And thus far, I mean, even on the small time frames, the DXY and the SPX as well as crypto are pretty solidly inversely correlated, okay? So yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So MLA Media says, about when would you say the bull run might start? Oh, just as I said, when that channel breaks, MLA Media, if you came in just now, definitely just rewind, and I explained it. So I'm on the daily time frame, but if you go on the small time frames, I just explained the bull run starts when this channel breaks right here. So this channel right here, where we've been in for what? Has it been 3 days? Yeah, about 3 days. Okay, this represents the last bastion of consolidation reversal for the DXY. And so if the DXY loses this channel around 109.4, it's going to nuke. And so then you should see Bitcoin start to pump really violently. Okay, that's when I think it should begin. To answer your question, OXT, let's look at OXT. I have no idea what it is, but it doesn't matter. We can chart anything. So let's have a quick look at that, and then we'll call it a stream, guys, because I gotta pick my son up. And yeah, OXT. I'm speaking to future millionaires here. If you're on, you are listening to cryptocurrency analysis at the literal bottom of the bull market. You're gonna make it. If you're listening, you're gonna make it. Congratulations. Hope you do good things with your money. You're not destructive. You help yourself, your family, and your community. All right, OXT. Okay, so as always, we're gonna start on our analysis off on the high time frames. I don't have that much data here, but we can still glean some information. So let's get off the monthly. Let's get on the weekly. And the weekly shows us a corrective pattern, right? I think it's quite clear. You have a flat correction here, okay? You have 1, 2, 3 waves, okay? So that's a completed corrective pattern. I think that's quite clear. If I take my Fibonacci extension tool from the top of this purported A wave, retracement of this B wave, okay, I get what I expect, right? I get that C wave or that impulse of that flat correction to target between the 1 and the 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay, so basically just rested on the 1 to 1, 2, 3, 6 at 10 cents. Okay, so now let's zoom in to this region right here, which seems to be the bottom of this market. All right, so let us go into the daily time frame, and it should be that this orthodox low happens on May 12th, as did most of our other assets, right? Most of our other assets in crypto bottomed on May 12th, okay? So that would be your initial break of structure on the daily time frame. So that's 3 waves targeting wave 4 of the previous trend. As per usual, that's your big A, that's your initial break of structure. Big B, that's your counter wave. This is your first degree of AB basing in the books, okay? Then you seem to put in a second degree A wave here, and then a 1, 2, 3 B wave there, okay? That seems to be my second degree of AB basing. Whoops. And we know AB bases typically come in 2 degrees on the large time frames, and then you typically get some sort of pivot, okay? You could say it's a 3rd degree. I like to say 2 degrees and a pivot, okay? So I'm looking now at this right here, and this pivot should be a 3-wave move and a 3-wave move, okay? You can call it an alpha and a beta or whatever you want. It's just a pivot, another consolidation reversal pattern, okay? So that's it. And then ad infinitum, you could say that there's another one in here, right? Even smaller one and smaller one and a smaller one. That's not important. What's important is you get your two big ones out of the way, and then whoops, your consolidation reversal is pretty much done, right? You can have a little bit of a pivot, but you're preparing to accumulate and for this whole thing to end at this point for me, right? Late August, which is pretty close, right? Because we're in mid-September. So if you were to read those two large degrees of AB basing correctly, you would have started to accumulate in earnest mid-August, which would have been fine. And it would also be fine if you accumulated here and here and here and here, or even here. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, anywhere in this range is buying the bottom as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so go on even smaller time frames. You can see, let's go on the hourly, get off the log. You can see that it's quite bullish. You have this consolidation going on, but it's in the context of coming sort of out of a falling wedge. Okay, so you have a consolidation, you have some sort of move up. Actually, let's actually say that this entire thing is a falling wedge. Okay, so this is quite bullish. It's a falling wedge. And so once you break this, expect an explosive move up, right? You're literally buying the bottom of the market here. Okay, so that's OXT. Let's see. MLA Media says, Steve says, thanks. No problem, Steve. My pleasure. MLA Media says, we'll do deep in QNT, LUNC, and SHIB at the moment. MLA Media, be careful with anything Luna. Not financial advice, but I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. That guy is about to be arrested. Just be very careful, please. I don't want to see anybody get wrecked. I don't talk about fundamental analysis much on this channel. I'm very focused on technicals, okay? But it is very important to look at the context and the fundamental context that surrounds the projects, right? Like, I'm not trying to get all Warren Buffett on you, but you're essentially investing in a protocol, a business, an idea. And if that idea is flawed, no matter what the chart looks like, you may get burned. So just be very careful with anything Luna C, right? I would be more cautious to invest in things with serious people, with serious backers, with, serious ideas, serious investments, a track record, okay? There's too many altcoins to go on and need to take risks, unnecessary risks, So just please be careful with anything Luna. Okay, that's just my 2 cents. So yeah, QNT is great. SHIB, great. I mean, these just stood the test of time. You could say SHIB is crap, and meme coins are crap, but like Dogecoin has been around. It has adoption. It has users. SHIB has, with all intents and purposes, been around as well, and it has a user base. There are a lot of people holding that asset. Even if it's a meme coin, it's fundamentally sound, right? LUNC, Luna, not sound. Okay. G-Tech insists, thank you, we'll share. Great work. Thank you. My pleasure. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just looking at this today, the DXY, right? This is what really is going to tell me when this move is going to happen. Because if you just look at Bitcoin, as you guys know, or anything else, let's go to Bitcoin. So if you just look at Bitcoin, it's hard to say when this is going to break out, right? Because it seems to go ad infinitum, just like this falling wedge. It just keeps going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. Yes, we found support on the 786, but I think it's a lot easier to read the DXY than have to read this consolidation in these falling wedges, right? Like Dodo, for instance. Like, look at that. Like that is as beautiful a falling wedge as I ever seen. That's so beautiful. That breakout is going to be epic. That breakout is going to be epic, right? All of them are, okay? And I think it's really soon because, once again, I don't have to do this. I don't know why I'm doing that. I could just switch to this. Yeah, this is coming down. This is coming down. Nothing goes up forever, okay? Let's just look really quickly. And the last thing we're going to do before we sign off, look really quickly at your momentum indicators, okay? Okay, 4 hours is not even... Let's look at the monthly. This has been oversold and overheated, the DXY has, since October of last year, okay? So we're in 2022. It's almost been oversold for a year. Almost a year, right? And it's about to cross bearish, okay? That's the monthly time frame. The weekly time frame, it's about to cross bearish on the weekly time frame, which tells you something, right? What does this tell you? It tells you that for months and weeks, you can expect this asset, whatever it is that you're looking at, to go down. That's what your momentum indicators are telling you. For months and weeks, you can expect them to go down, okay? You don't get bearish crosses on the monthly and the weekly just every day, okay? So that's why I'm saying that the bull market is going to start any moment now, because we're just about to cross bearish on the daily time frame, on the weekly time frame, on the monthly time frame, right? And this is all in conjunction with what we're seeing already cross bearish on the 4-hourly time frame, by the way. Hourly time frame, we're cross bearish as well. This is in conjunction with our reads in price action, right? The price action really shows you what you need to know. And obviously you always want to use your indicators corroboratively, because you may make some mistakes just reading pure price action. God knows I've done it a million times. But, the price action is really telling you something, right? You range at the top, you range at the top, you range at the top. You made a top, got rejected. Try to make a new top, got rejected. You come back and you lose this top. And just as we came in this massive B wave, okay, right here, this B wave was, okay, after we did our initial break of structure, we came down 3 waves. Then we pivot, we do an A wave, B wave for the counter wave, and we go up really fast. What do you think happens on the way down? It's called, what's the word? Balance. The market loves balance, okay? So there's an imbalance in the DXY at this level, right? So many things are telling you exactly what's coming, right? You have the imbalance here that's going to be rebalanced with a similar red candle. Nobody got a chance to sell here, right? It's nothing but buyers, 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 buyers. There's no selling. There's some selling that has to come and balance the market here, okay? And then you're obviously going to fill in some gaps on the way down even below this low, all right? So that's your DXY. That's your market mover. That's really what is going to tell you what's going on in these risk-on assets, in Bitcoin and stocks and all that stuff. This is not something I've always known. This is something I've kind of come to understand in technical analysis, in reading crypto and reading stock markets. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Guys, if there's nothing else, we're going to call it a stream. I hope you're well positioned to take advantage of all of this. I really do hope that, you haven't been shaken out. I know it's been so difficult. But yeah, it really takes, you guys are all warriors. If you're on here even paying attention at the bottom of a bear market where people are the least interested, you're paying attention, you can remember that, okay, yeah, when everybody was giving up on crypto or saying there was going to be 6 months more of consolidation, I was looking at the chart trying to figure out what the hell was going on. I was still, kind of balancing my portfolio, protecting my positions, doing whatever. Like, congratulations. You guys are really, really going to make it. financially, and I hope you make it in life, because it doesn't necessarily mean that just because you make money you're gonna make it. You know, you gotta have your head on straight. But I think you guys do. Hunter Tom says 2 by 4 hour pin bars to the 786 fib on DXY looks like a pretty solid reversal signal. I agree. I agree. Pedro says chop to death today. Absolutely. So I mean, this is like really difficult chop, right? It's difficult to trade. It's difficult to, really look at. You have to totally zoom out and try and look for simple support and resistance, right? Okay, that's some support. So that's all you can do. Like, trying to trade this up and down. I know some people like to trade small price action at all times, whether we're at a macro bottom or a macro top. But yeah, that's hell. I mean, it's just up and down and up and down and up and down, and it's like that, of course, because that's what the DXY was doing, just going up and down and up and down. Whoops. Up and down and up and down, consolidating at this range high, preparing for a breakdown. Okay, so that's it for me, guys. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Take care. Have a great Friday, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the weekend. Remember, the weekends we don't do live streams. We just we're gonna do some pre-recorded stuff. Just a few minutes to talk about stuff. All right. Take care. Have a nice Friday. Have a nice weekend. Bye.